We still do 7 NUFC Matters shows for free a week. But if you want to support the channel, there are a few ways of doing it. Hit the like button on each live broadcast or video. This helps the channel grow. Hit the subscribe button and select the all notifications option. Hit the thanks button to buy a super sticker. You can do this on the live chat too. You can also join our Patreon page or buy us a coffee at the link in all of our video descriptions below. We are also looking for sponsors. If you want our latest advertising rates and how you can get involved, then email John at nufcmatters1892@gmail.com. Thanks for watching.
Critics attack. It feels like I've been talking to myself again. But it's the only way you're ever gonna learn. You look back and it's all in the past. I'm dwelling on the thoughts I cannot say to you. If I don't say the words, then maybe it's not true. And it feels alright when they come and say to you, you're the only thing that makes us all believe.
Good evening, welcome along to a pre-recorded show. It is Talk of the Toon on NUFC Matters, and I'm joined by Sid from Songs from the Attic. Give him a follow on his YouTube channel. How are you, Sid?
Doing well. We're recording this in the future, so I just want to say well done to Newcastle on their 5-0 win over Barcelona. So well done.
Yeah, I mean, this will be going out Tuesday, so pre-match really, which is great. But yeah, we're recording it on Monday night, and it means we can look back on the win, a win at last over Wolves.
Yes.
It's over Wolves, and you know what? It sounds as if we've got off to a terrible start of the season, you know. But a 0-0 at Villa, a 0-0 at Leeds, a 3-2 narrow defeat against Liverpool, and now a 1-0 win against Wolves. But yeah, listen, it wasn't a game for the purists. It's not a game we'll be rewatching with joy every cold winter's night to warm the cockles. But it was an important win nonetheless.
Yeah, I'm sorry, I was just digging my notes up there. I mean,
professional at the end.
It was terrible, wasn't it? It was a strange old game. I mean, we could have been a goal down after 8-9 seconds. I mean, Pope pulled off an absolute blinder of a save. We literally just sat down in our seats from standing at the beginning and doing all the flags bit, and they were through on goal, hit a good shot, and Pope pulled off a stormer. And then another good save off the guy, is it Wang, I think the guy's called?
Yeah,
so
Wang, yeah.
At this point, I'm thinking, blimey, what's going on? And it took us about 4 or 5 minutes to compose ourselves as a team and then start passing the ball around and then start to play properly. I thought we deserved to win I thought the second half we were by far the better team. The first half it was 50-50, I would probably argue, especially after their couple of early chances. But it was a terrible game. I mean, the referee, I'm not going to slag the referee off this time in terms of he was probably quite generous to us overall, I think.
Yeah.
I mean, and feel free to be corrected here, they got about 7 yellow cards, so they'll be getting a fine this week. That's including 2 of the people on the bench. I mean, their number 8, to be fair, could have been sent off on 3 separate occasions. I think you could have certainly had 3 yellow cards anyway. But it was, I wouldn't have said it was a dead dirty game, yet there was loads of yellow cards. They're massive. I had to check their bench to make sure Sam Allardyce wasn't managing, because they're the biggest physical team I've seen in years. They were absolutely huge in terms of guys on the pitch. But it was a strange old game. There was some really good performances, of course. Voldemort obviously getting the goal, which we'll talk about in a minute. I have to say, I thought Tonali was unbelievable. I mean, you just keep going through your superlatives for him, and the guy's next level. He just does everything, doesn't he? I mean, I think Eddie Howe mentioned the idea of him sort of just being just covering every blade of grass and just putting out so many fires, which he does with his pace. And it's noticeable. If you remember rightly, I think it was the beginning of last season and the year before when he was banned, and my biggest gripe was with the two centre-halves that we've got now, actually, was the fact that people would knock the ball over the back or through the middle, and they'd just run through the middle because of the sheer pace. But they can't do that now because he's there covering them. And I think he's made such an enormous difference. I mean, he's incredible. I'm putting it out there now. I think he's genuinely the best midfielder I've seen at the club. He really is remarkable footballer. Please get him tied down. Please, get him tied down for another 5 years. Or if he has to go in the long term, and it went to Real Madrid, nobody'd grumble. You'd say fair dues, he can play for them. He's good enough, isn't he? He would be, in my opinion, he's in the top 3 or 4 midfield players in the world. I think he's that good. And you'd probably put Rodri in that class, of course. And then I'd have a little think about it after that. I don't think there's anybody else in the Premier League who touches him in terms of his position. I think he's amazing. Casado's a good player, but he's better than him. So, yeah, magnificent. I'll tell you what was interesting, and I don't think anybody's mentioned this yet when I've looked at various shows, is Joe Linton was playing partially as a number 9. And if you watched his movement, he was going up front a lot and then dropping back, and he was almost playing as a false 9 on a number of occasions. It was quite fascinating to see, and wondering whether Eddie Howe's actually going to sort of slightly change that and do a little bit of that whilst we've got Voltemade up front without a proper number 9, if you like, or your normal type of 9, because he's obviously like a 9.5 stroke 10. And so it was interesting to watch him, the interchange between him and Joe Linton. And what was lovely as well is his goal was magnificent. And again, can I add Murphy was brilliant again. I thought he was excellent. His cross was superb. Elanga's going to struggle to get in as a straight starter, which is a lovely problem to have. But I thought the ball was brilliant. I loved the way he just peeled off the defender, just created a little yard of space, and it was a bullet into the back of the net with his head. It was brilliant, brilliant goal. To see the exuberance and the joy on his face afterwards was fantastic. He was genuinely buzzing and thrilled. I thought the reaction of the players was fabulous, because it's always interesting to see the reaction. They clearly really like him. They really like him. And at the end of the game, Big Joe grabbing him by the neck and pushing him forward in front of the fans, I thought spoke volumes. He's clearly clicked in the dressing room, and they really like the lad. He seems, like a really good lad. And he's the impression it looks like he's enjoying himself on Tyneside so far. So well done to him. It's I always go back as well to those strikers that you've seen scoring on their debuts. I mean, Mickey Quinn obviously is the one that stands out the most, isn't it? In terms of banging loads in. But other ones that really start was Andy Cole, for example. Always you almost wished it into the back of the net, or Kevin Keegan, of course. I felt a bit like that. I don't know about you, but it felt a little bit like that in terms of the fans willing him to score. It was real sort of, and it's taken that, it'll have taken that pressure off him now. Because if you look at Cesc Man United, his counterpart, he looks terrible. I think your phrase is mind the gap, is it not?
Yes, it is. Oh, Melly's had that a couple of times this season already.
And as I said last week, I think Cesc will be a scorer of great goals, not a great goal scorer. But there you have it. I'll be interested to see if I'm wrong. But I think we've scored. I think we've scored with a really good player. Performances were varying. And it's also fascinating, the conversations you have in the pub. Because my view, and the lads around me, and the lady actually, we had a perspective, for example, that was totally different to all my mates in the pub who were giving us grief. Because I thought Tino had a terrible game. I thought he had an absolute shocker.
Yeah, I did.
And they were going, how can you? He was just about our best player after Tonali. And I'm thinking, I must have watched a different game. And then, people giving him 7s, 8s, and 9s. And I'm scratching my head thinking, I just didn't see it. I would have hooked him. I would have absolutely hooked him and brought Lewis Hall on. And that's not denigrating him by any way, but I think he's a fabulous footballer. And we might end up, ironically, having the 2 best left backs in the country. And he's going to prove it on the right, which is obviously his natural position. I just thought he was poor. I just thought he was very, very poor.
Probably his worst game of the season, I think, in general. But I think overall, I felt like the back four, again, played well, kept a clean sheet. And it's a point I was going to make with you. Aston Villa, Leeds, now Wolves at home. That tight rear guard's back, and it's back in full effect. And finding a way of winning a game at home against a team we could have lost against this season or dropped at least 2 points.
We wouldn't have won that, Steve. We wouldn't have won that last year. That would have been like a Fulham game or whatever, not West Ham, but it would have been or Brighton. It would have been something like that. I thought, the defense was fabulous, and Fabian Schär, pardon the pun, he was fab. He was brilliant. He was pinging the ball around left everywhere, and the passing was majestic. He really was. He looks back to his best. Could it be because he's got competition now?
Yeah,
it might well be. He's going to have to be on his toes. And I thought it was terrific. I thought two of the challenges that him and Byrne put in. I remember for one of them, I can't remember who it was now, as they were through on goal on the 6-yard box, and one of them dived in and just took the ball off someone's toes. I thought it was brilliant. I actually stood up and gave the lad a round of applause. What a challenge that is. So defensively, terrific. Midfield, not bad. Bruno, bit tired, but then he's been playing football at 5,000-6,000 feet up in the air. That's like, and he's come back on Thursday. That's like basically equivalent of playing football 2/3 of the way up Mount Everest. and then expect to play football a couple of days later. I mean, Bolivia, I believe, have never been beaten at home in a World Cup qualifier or the Copa, is it the Copa del Rey, whatever they call it, or the South American title. So that tells you how hard it must be to play there. I mean, it must be nigh on impossible. So, I have no problems with that. And I have no problems with Barnes either. Barnes I get annoyed the Boo Boys have sort of switched to Barnes now, because there's always one, isn't there, and Barnes was getting a bit of grief, and I'm thinking, hold on. The fella's probably not slept in 2 days. His wife gave birth the day before. We've all been there as dads. We know what it's like, get the matchsticks out and keep your eyes open. So to play at St. James's Park the next day, I'll take my hat off to him. Yeah, he wasn't great. I appreciate that. But come on, let's just show have a bit of empathy for the lad and absolutely be able to relate to him a little bit, because we can all understand that. And let's not give him dog's abuse, because I didn't think he deserved it. And one thing he didn't do, he kept shouting for the ball. He didn't go and hide. Didn't go and hide somewhere else or didn't want to not know. He kept asking for the ball. And you could see the frustration on his face when he missed that shot or when he'd fluff up a chance, and he could see him being really, earthed with himself, and I thought, fair dues. Absolutely fair dues. So, it wasn't about the performance, was it? We just had to win, and it didn't matter how we won as long as we won. And I thought that's really what it was all about with regards to Saturday. So we've now got 5 points on the table, and then hopefully onwards and upwards. So, well done to the boys, despite it not being pretty. And the fact, can I just add one more point? I actually thought Joe Willock was really, really good. All right. I thought he was excellent and if he's watching, please, if the lad's running with the ball and there's 30 seconds to go at the halfway line, please just take him out. Don't let him just run past, take him out, take the yellow card. I think they have to be a little bit more like that. I think they just have to be a little bit more nasty at times and learn from the errors. Remember the Champions League game a few years ago when we didn't, and Dortmund ran down the other end and scored. So you've got to, unfortunately, it's not nice, but you've got to do it. So I want to see a little bit more nastiness on occasions. Obviously not injure anybody, but, there we go.
I mean, what did you make of Kieran Trippier, you see? Because your conversation in the pub centred around Tino Livramento. Mine with my mates centred around Kieran Trippier. Now, I thought Trips had a decent game. I thought, one or two errors, as always, but defenders are going to make errors, and Wolves at times really did try their best to put the pressure on. But I felt he had a decent game, and his organisational skills, again, coming into full effect. And when it's a much maligned defence, if you believe, the people on Twitter and stuff. But you know what? They're doing well again. That experienced back three of Trippier, Shaw and Byrne, all in their 30s.
Yeah.
They're defying logic at the minute and keeping out the likes of Malik Chow and Sven Botman and, of course, Lewis Hall, three players who could probably walk into any Premier League team at this moment in time, can't get a game because of the performances of the back four, and they're doing well at the moment with Nick Pope behind them.
Yeah, I mean, the old dad's army, isn't it? They're doing very, very well. I thought Trippier was all right. I mean, you get a bit knocked that he's crossing sometimes, but even then, I didn't think it was that bad. I thought he had a reasonable game. So yeah, I don't understand. I didn't understand some of the grief he was getting, but as I say, for me, it was the left. I had the issues with, but that was, maybe it's because they were right next to us at one point. But yeah, I thought it was all right. I thought we deserved to win against a very physical team. As I say, they were a team of giants. I mean, their centre forward, he was massive. He looked like a heavyweight boxer, He was absolutely huge. And their centre halves were massive as well. I mean, it's not often our 4 or 5 big giant lads go up there to take a corner and all the other opposition are the same height as them. I was quite taken aback by how physically large their team were. But yeah, overall, yeah, please take it 3 points. You could hear the sense of relief when the final whistle went in the ground. But
got to ask you your thoughts on Murphy. I mean, he's keeping Alanga out of the team. Alanga, of course, was just behind Murphy on stats, and and Mo Salah, top 3 in the Premier League. We've seen him. He has played a little part in the early exchanges of Newcastle season, but Murphy given the chance to shine against Leeds, and again, putting in a great effort, I felt. Two shots a goal. It's something I was crying out for last week. Have a shot at goal, man. Murphy is still happy to do it. But Murphy also with that pinpoint ball across for Valdemar to get off the mark.
He's the best crosser. He's the best crosser on the wings that we've got. So, yeah, it's a funny one, isn't it? Because Alanga, I thought, was actually very, very good against Liverpool. I thought his all-round game was excellent. I thought he tortured their fullback, and he put some decent balls in. But of course, we didn't have a centre forward. And Gordon should have scored, in my opinion. Actually, I think Vissa would have definitely scored against Liverpool. But I still think Murphy's the better crosser of the team. But what's nice now, we've probably got 2 players who I would say were on a par, but with different skill sets. Whereas Alanga's all about pace. He needs to work on his crossing by the looks of it. But I might be wrong because I don't want to judge him too early, And his stats overall are good in terms of last year. But Murphy's were better. Mm-hmm. So everyone's giving it almost an upgrade, this, that, and the other. Is it? And in my opinion, and I've been championing him for 2 years now, I think the fans underappreciate Jacob Murphy. I think he's very unlucky not to have been in the England squad. I mean, don't get us wrong, it's not going to happen now because Madueke is playing very, very well. And of course, you've got the lad from Arsenal, the other Arsenal player, sorry. So unless one of them's injured, he's not got a chance of getting in the squad now, which is a real shame because I think he probably did deserve a call-up in the last 18 months. So I think he's been very unlucky. I think he's been excellent. And there was the joke going around, wasn't it? It's Newcastle have sold Liverpool an iPhone without the charger, basically in terms of Isaac, and the Murphy obviously being the charger, which I thought was quite an amusing little sort of analogy. And he's terrific. He's the amount of goals he's creating is not coincidental. It's not a purple streak because you don't have a purple streak for 2 and a bit years, which he's had. So my hat's off to him because nobody 5 years ago would have thought Jacob Murphy would still be starting for Newcastle United, and especially when the takeover occurred, and that he'd be quite pivotal. And he is. And he's great for the dressing room as well. So well done to him. Hard work pays off. And the fact that he's obviously like a sponge and takes in everything Eddie Howe told him to do, again, well done to the lad. So I'm hoping Alanga has the same thing in terms of, and I get the impression he works very hard because his big thing over the last year is to work on his other foot. So he's worked on his other foot in terms of developing his crossing with it as well. So, we shall see in time. And I've got every confidence that Eddie Howe will transform him as well. And hopefully we'll have another top winger. So I'm not too concerned with Elanga. I think he'll come good. But
I mean,
Murphy, brilliant.
like me, you go to the games. I felt it was a bit subdued throughout the game. I'm not sure whether that was because there wasn't a huge war flags display. Obviously, keeping themselves for Thursday. But maybe we just don't do 3 o'clock kickoffs on a Saturday anymore.
No, I said that actually on Saturday, and it's like, I mean, I don't know about you, but if I had my way, I'd have a nighttime game every day of the week. It would be my sort of fair choice. I just think Newcastle under the lights is unbeatable. I really do. I think there's something special about it, and it's not because people are tanked up with alcohol at that point either. I just think there's something a little bit magical about it. And I'm sure the fans will see that on Thursday, and no doubt Barcelona will experience it. And I don't think it's just us either, of course. I think other fans around the country experience that as well. And let's be honest, how many Saturdays at 3 o'clock do I have these days? It's not many. You know, when we were kids, it was every week. There's not many of them at all now. So, yeah.
Yeah. Strange scenario, strange situation. Okay, we are doing a slightly shorter show, so we are going to have a quick break, and then we shall be bringing in Rob for his music review. A big thanks to all our sponsors, Skips and Bins. You can find them at their website, skipsandbins.com. Contact them at www.skipsandbins.com/contact. Say hello to low-cost waste disposal with pay-as-you-go and contract waste management. A big thanks to Mr. Vicky's Sauces, handmade in Cumbria. You can find them at their website, mrvickies.co.uk, email info@mrvickies.co.uk, or telephone 01768 210 102. Thanks to our fanzine sponsor, United Group Travel. There are no strangers on our tours, just friends you haven't met yet. 2 crew driver and courier, local family company, 3-star plus quality hotels and no interchanges. Hot and cold snacks and drinks available on the coach, all excursions included. Their website, unitedgrouptravel.com, email beverly.ugtl@gmail.com, telephone 01670 632 460 or 0791 666 4174. Just £30 per person deposit. Thanks to Media Arts for all the help with the technical side of things. And if you like listening to us as a podcast, you can go to Sports Social Podcast Network or to iTunes, Spotify, or other podcast providers. If you want to support the show, then hit the subscribe button. It's free. We do 7 shows a week. Hit the little thumb up under the video, which is the like button, or click share to share to your social media. You can also join the channel on YouTube by hitting the join button for as little as $1.99 a month. If you want to become an NUFC Matters member, you can go to nufcmatterspodcast.co.uk. It's a £25 one-off fee. You get your pen, you get your badge, a key ring, you get your beer mat and your fridge magnet and your membership card, nufcmatterspodcast.co.uk for that. And we have an event early next year, 13th of February 2026, an evening with Beardsley, Waddle and Gascoigne takes place at the Tyne Theatre and Opera House. To buy your tickets for that event, go to the box office 0191 243 1171 or Tyne Theatre and Opera House.uk. And it's a big welcome to Rob. How are you, mate?
Very good, gentlemen. How are you both?
Good, man. Good T-shirt, Rob. Nice to see that. Well done.
I knew you'd appreciate it. Yeah. All good.
And here's your album you're not reviewing. That's a scary cover, Rob. It's not Halloween yet.
I know. When I've done that, I was thinking Alan Partridge again, saying, "You're not slick, not your rubbish." You know, that's an album.
Why are you taking this today?
Today, talking of albums I'm not reviewing them, just a bit fun. Found us in charity shop. Bit cheeky, bit risky cover, but it's volume 72.
My God.
Absolutely brilliant. Look at that. Number 72. I don't know
They
how
used to
many
be
were
terrible,
released.
didn't they? Because you'd get them, and they'd obviously just some random people covering people's hits of the day.
Yeah. In the Navy, number 1. So this is 1979, yeah. So today was a request from Benny B. It was his first album. About a couple of weeks ago, he asked me to review it. So it's the Cranberries 1994, the second studio album, and it is called No Need to Argue. 4 singles off it: Zombie, Ode to My Family, I Can't Be With You, and Ridiculous Thoughts. Yeah, Benny he sent me a message. He was 13 when he bought it, so it's really nice. He still has that memory. He can still remember the details. There's about 19 songs on it, so I've picked a few randomly. So I went with Ode to My Family. It's really beautiful opening, as you would expect. It did remind me of the Sundays, which is a very good thing. It's a very emotional song. Really lovely video to this as well. Beautiful harmonies. It's, to me, it makes you realise with the lyrics, the older you get, you've still got to remember the inner child in you. It's one of those songs that's that journey, and it's an emotional song. There's not a lot of music in the Cranberries, believe it or not, but it's mostly, the lyrical delivery, the vocals for me. You go, track 2, I put a Zombie. I mean, doesn't remember this, especially the video when I remember she was sprayed in gold. And then it did remind me of the Chili Peppers, Give It Away. It's a very similar sort of style thing, but this is very, very grungy for the Cranberries, very in your face. Heavy distortion, pounding bass runs, brilliant, solid drumming. Unfortunately, as the world we live in just now, it's still, relevant now. It's just in your face, anti-war song. And like I say, it's just so realistic now how we're living. And you've got everything I said, nice guitar texturing in this. Drumming becomes across quite lagging in this song. It's very unusual, strange. Very mid-30s, very indie sound in this one for me. Cocktail Twins, Sundays. Guitaring is, I find, very Johnny Marrish. Again, that's good. Again, the vocals, beautiful, stunning, clear, just pretty much perfection. It's a very slow song again. Then you've got track 4, Disappointment. It's the drums to this one's got a little bit of a hip hop feel to it, pretty slow tempo, jangly guitars. Again, it's like a heartfelt, vulnerable feel to me. It's, again, nice bass runs running through this. It's that music art. It's that thing. It's not just the Cranberries. It's like the art side to it as well. The place and time, and a lot of the songs are obviously very personal, especially what like Cranberries and most Irish bands sing about. It's the surroundings. It's stuff fingers, you too. The list goes on. It's usually always about the surroundings and the upbringings. Then you've got Dreaming My Dreams. It's absolutely amazingly composed, this song, and beautifully delivered again by Dolores. Heartfelt again, personal, emotional love song. Again, the music again is perfectly placed. Again, just nicely put in the background for it. Nice little fiddle part on this in the second verse. It's nice steel guitar effect as well. Again, that's going into the second verse of the guitar part, and that's really, really nice. I wasn't expecting it, but it just pushes the song into the second verse, not the middle 8 section for a change. Then you've got Yeats's Grave. It's got a quite gothy sort of feel to it as well. There's the lyrics. This is silenced by death in the grave. William Butler Yeats couldn't survive. Very like All About Eve, like hippie goth. It's very much like that. So there is a good variety in this album. It isn't 100% of a one-trick pony. I was very pleasantly surprised as the songs went on. The final one I've got is No Need to Argue. Again, it's song about losing a loved one, but it's okay to have lost a loved one. There's that thing because you take strength on the love you had. Again, angelic, nice Hammond organ in the background of this one as well. Just a simple, real, powerful song delivered beautifully again. It's got like a cathedral sort of vibe to it, sort of church hymns, a choir feel to it as well. But that's the songs I've chosen from it, but I was pretty impressed. I thought they were always going to be sort of like ballads, but they weren't. There's other mixture in there, that sort of gothy, all about Eve, that hippie, Johnny Marr, indie, zombie, the grunge. So yeah, very, very good album. So thank you, Benny B, for your recommendation. If anyone else has any other albums want me to do, the first album, drop me a message, leave it in the comments, and I do pick them up.
Great stuff. Okay. What about you, Sid? What have you got for us today?
Good band then. So I've gone with Roxy Music. So somebody recommended it last week, which was Avalon, and Brian Ferry, of course, Newcastle United fan, and played football, if I remember rightly, with the same team as Howard Wilkinson at school. Was it Howard Wilkinson? Howard Kendall, sorry. Howard Kendall.
So,
were on the same
also related to me, Sid. He's my third cousin.
Yes. well, there you go. It's obvious, isn't it?
It's a thing in that day on a Friday that gives it away, but nobody seems to give us any credit for that.
So on the front cover there, you got his ex-wife, Lucy Helmore. And the album came out in 1982. Roxy in my top 5 favorite artists, actually. Just a huge fan of Roxy. Seen them on a number of occasions. The album produced by Rhett Davies and mixed by Bob Claremont, who did an incredible job on this. I mean, this album, in many respects, is one of those soundtracks to the 80s albums. It really is. It's a remarkable sounding album. It was one of those albums as well where some Roxy fans are really divided, because you often get I prefer the early Roxy and I don't like the latter Roxy Brigade fans. I like all Roxy, so it doesn't really bother me. I just see a band that's progressed, and I genuinely think it's a great album in a different way to the early stuff, of course, which was much more art rock. So it starts off with More Than This, which is a great pop song, lovely little guitar riff at the beginning, Ferry singing partially in falsetto. It's beautifully sung. I mean, Ferry's voice at this point is on his top draw. It really is. It's a great pop song. It's dead simple, really radio friendly, played to death on the radios, and it was a big hit in America as well. Big hit in the UK, hit in America. Terrific starter. The second song, The Space Between, has almost got like a Steely Dan sound. It's got a real sort of, lovely sort of groove, lovely sort of feel. Really like it. Terrific. We've then got Avalon, the title track, which Ferry only named the album after, because I think it may have been the last song recorded. And they originally had a totally different version, and then they heard this girl singing in the next studio to them, Yannick Etienne. And they thought, we'll get her in. Ferry said, let's get this girl in just to sing on the record. And they just told her to sing whatever she wanted. She did all the fancy high bits in the middle of the song. And they totally changed the feel of the record. Ferry absolutely thought she was amazing. Used her on 3 more albums after that. So again, it's a lovely song. It's beautiful. Again, it's quite languid, beautiful sort of groove, really laid back. Fabulous song. We've then got India, which again is a great instrumental. At this point, Roxy's just really the 3 of them now. You've got Andy Mackay, Phil Manzanera, and Brian Ferry. The great Paul Thompson had gone at this point. He'd gone a couple of albums earlier at the end of Manifesto. So we're down to 3. Alan Spenner on bass, who's just sensational. One of the great underrated bass players. And the drumming's fabulous as well. I've got the guys. Andy Newmark, great drummer. So great song. Then While My Heart's Still Beating is terrific. It's got a lovely feel. Again, there's nothing that's like really up tempo on this album. It's got a wistful sort of feel to it. There's a sense of longing in his voice. There's lovely spatial sound on it, and you can hear everything like the glockenspiel, the bass. It's an incredible sounding song. I love it. Then you got the main thing again. Alan Spenner just jumps out with his bass line on it and the unusual production on it. The backing vocals is fantastic on it. It's just a great sounding song. It is a great song as well. Take a Chance on Me. I've just got a great song. It's got a dramatically long intro, which is almost like the early art rock Roxy, but then it goes into a pop song. So it mixes both sorts of Roxy together, if you like. Polished pop, To Turn You On is a good song. It's sort of something that would have been on side 2 of Manifesto. I've got a feeling it might have been written a little bit earlier, that one, but it is a good song. We've then got True to Life, which is my favourite song on the album. I just think it's an incredible song. It's a feel song. It's got just a beautiful feel to it. I love the overdub voice that Ferry does on it. There's loads of loads of voices on it. It's beautifully done. And then interestingly, the album finishes with the Andy Mackay piece Tara, which ironically Ferry would then call one of his sons after. It's just like a short clarinet piece in a little bit of keys with Andy Mackay. It's a great song. They used to do it live. It was always like the interlude where the band are changing instruments and Andy Mackay would come forward and do Tara. It's just great. It's a great album. It's just one of them great sounding albums. It stands up really, really well. I would describe it as a late night album.
Yeah.
It's just brilliant. Roxy, for me, one of the few bands who've done more than 5 albums. They've done 8 albums and not one of them's a bad album. Every one of them's an absolute belter. So, yeah, 5-star album all day for me. Classic album. So thank you, whoever recommended that.
Great album. It's the depth and the warmth as well, so I find with that. It's just, like you say, nighttime, but it's the depth that, like the vocals, and when you're picking up, like glockenspiel and little things, it just saturates you with the warmth and depth of it to me. Yeah.
It's just like, I think Roxy had 2 more albums in them because Boys and Girls is a brilliant album as well. I'll do that one day. Is great. The next album was brilliant. It should have been a Roxy album. But so I've done a show on them as well, Steve, didn't I? So I mentioned that as well. And I forgot to put my signed Roxy album. I've got a signed cover of Siren on one of my walls. So, huge Roxy fan. Check our show out. We have heated debate with regards to some of the rankings. Good crack. The lads are excellent on it. So, film-wise, I've gone down the route of Marathon Man, which I absolutely love. It's a great film. The John, how do you pronounce his name? Schlesinger film from '76, starring Dustin Hoffman, Laurence Olivier, and some great actors there. Roy Scheider, who was went on to other things as well, of course, and William Devine. There's some great actors in it. It's a superb film. I'm sure most of you have seen it, but if you haven't, it's basically about Dustin Hoffman's character, and his brother gets assassinated whilst busy investigating former Nazis who are still alive, and about a big pot of money. And his brother works for like the FBI or the CIA. I can't remember which one it is now, but it's brilliant. And Laurence Olivier, his character's terrific in it. Actually, it's inspired by Joseph Mengele, and there's the Angel of Death, and his character's Zell, and he's known as the White Angel in it, and it's brilliant. It's a terrific film. If you've ever watched it, the phrase "Is it safe?" always sticks with you. When you go to the dentist, there's a torture scene in it which is infamous, or a number of torture scenes where the character of Zell tortures the key character there with regards to sticking dental drills into Dustin Hoffman's mouth and then soothing him by putting whiskey on his finger like a little kid does when they're teething. And they still do that. But it's absolutely fantastic film. Now, I didn't realize until I was doing some research on it that apparently there was 2 endings to it. The book's slightly different, and we've seen a different edited version that was released because it was too violent, apparently, with regards to the original release. So that would be interesting to see that. But it's set mainly in New York, so you get all of the sort of scenery as well. It's brilliant. So I remember when I was in New York this time last year with the kids, and I was walking around looking around, and I was thinking to myself, because there's no point in telling my wife and kids, this was the Sebron Marathon Man, but they just looked at us like I was a moron. So, or a bigger moron, should I say. And I thought I was getting quite excited going down this sort of bit where they were selling the diamonds and all the rest of it. So, what a great film. If you've never seen it and you love a good thriller, Marathon Man is fantastic. It's a great story. So
see what you're talking about with the whiskey with the finger with teething.
Yeah. Yes.
Can't do it. Can't give a baby booze.
Oh.
Well, there we go. It's all changed. It's one of them things. It's the world we live in now. Great stuff from both of you guys, as always. Rob, thanks very much. If anyone's got a suggestion for Rob, stick it in the comments below the show. Rob will be watching back, and if you've got any albums as well, you can send them over to us at our email address as well, nufcmatters1892@gmail.com. Rob, thanks very much. See you next week.
Take care, man. Look after yourself.
Cheers now. Bye-bye.
Okay, just got time to look ahead to the next game, which of course is Barcelona in the Champions League on Thursday night. We'll also get a prediction of Sid for the match against Bournemouth on Sunday. But Barcelona, Champions League is back. What kind of changes do you think you'll make? And give us a prediction, Sid.
Well, I said the other day 2-2 because we got our dates wrong. I'm away on Thursday, ironically. 2-2, I think. Yeah, I'm going 2-2. I think it'll be a great game. Well, I wish I was there. Do I think there'll be any changes? I think Gordon will come in. Gordon will definitely come in for Barnes. I think Barnes will start on Sunday, obviously. And I think Elanga will come in.
Okay.
So, yeah, I think I'm tossing a coin with guys to Elanga and Murphy. But that's it.
Yeah, so you just think a couple of changes. Yeah, I genuinely think that there'll be changes. I think he will bring Gordon in for Barnes. He will rest Barnes. I think there'll be a change in that back four.
So will come in.
I think it'll either be Trippier or Livramento to make way for Lewis Hall. And of course, Livramento would then swap the right back and Lewis Hall would be on the left.
Yeah.
That's presuming that we're going to go with the traditional, 2 centre-halves and 2 full-backs and goalkeeper. I don't think he'll change the goalkeeper. I think the goalkeeper will certainly change for the Carabao Cup.
Yeah.
But I don't think we've got much option. I don't think he'll want to separate Murphy, though, and
Baltimore with him scoring.
After such a good start.
That's a fair point. I see it's a fair point.
I think the midfield three stays the same.
I don't want to see 5 at the back though.
No, I don't think there'll be 5 at the back at home, not for this game.
I don't mind it away. I don't mind it away like the PSG and that, but I don't want to see it at home.
No, I agree.
You've got to go out and go for it.
It's always difficult to predict the game after that because we don't know what's happened against Barcelona. But let's just say clean bill of health. Newcastle, whatever the result, go into the game against Bournemouth away. Tough game to go into. Any game's tough in the Premier League, but it's a tough game. #1 as well.
We've got a terrible record there, haven't we?
We have, yeah. And they're playing well.
They are playing really well. I mean, their manager is excellent, isn't he? I mean, I think he'll be the next Man United manager at Christmas. I really do. I think he'll be the next Manchester United manager. Sadly, because I think he'll do a really good job. I think he'll do a really good job. And I think he's a terrific manager. I think they're a good team. They've got some excellent players. I think there'll be wholesale changes on Sunday. I think this will be the time where Howe has shown that he's developed from the previous time we were in the Champions League, and all of a sudden we get a wholesale change. We get totally different back line. I think we'll have 5 or 6 changes in the team. Unfortunately, the downside is Baltimore will have to play. They'll have to play somebody up front because we don't have Vissa, so we can't change the attacking options for a while.
You'll get a rest doing the Carabao Cup, and you would imagine Zuma leads the line against Bradford.
Yeah, I agree on that front. I think that'll be totally different. But,
so prediction for Bournemouth. I'm going to go for a draw down at Bournemouth, and I'll be over the moon, to be honest.
Yeah, I would be delighted with a draw. I'm actually going to go 2-1 to Newcastle.
All right, good.
Yeah,
well, that's positive.
I think we're due to win there sometime. So I'm going to go 2-1 to Newcastle. I am. Yeah, I'm going to go with a win. So, yeah.
Good stuff. Now, you're away. When are you back?
I'm back on Sunday. I'm only going for 4 days. It's just a city.
Good stuff. So we will be back next Tuesday to look back at the Champions League game, and we'll be back to look at the Bournemouth game and look ahead, of course, to the Carabao Cup on the Wednesday. So have a good trip, Sid. Take care, mate. Thanks everybody for tuning in. And I'll take Sid out and just promote a couple of events. Here we go. We have our Christmas date. An evening with Warren Barton. He's doing it in the age of Age UK, No Tyneside Dementia, and that is on the 21st of November. 7 till 10. Tickets are £12, and he's doing that with Joe Allen. So stick a date in your diary. It's Friday night. Get yourself along and support Age UK. And just one for next year, early next year, Pedro, Peter Beardsley and Joe Allen are going to get together and do one for Dementia on the 30th of January. Both tickets are on sale now, and they are from your website, of course, nufcmatterspodcast.co.uk. Get yourself along and let's have a nice social night out. Okay, thanks everybody for tuning in. If you are watching on Twitter, please jump over onto YouTube, search NUFC Matters, hit the subscribe button. We do 7 shows a week. See you soon. Take care. Bye-bye.